What's good, everyone? I'm Venomoustair. This is game 3 of a best of 5 between two exceptional pro gamers. Here we have Scarlett, the Queen of Blades from Canada, in the bottom left of the classic map Daybreak. Her opponent this game, who is currently up 2-0, is the Prince of Marines, the successor to Marine King Prime, one of the most exceptional micro-based players in the entire world, and one of the most fun players to watch. It is Maru, of Gener, formerly of Prime, and widely considered to be one of the best Terran players in the world for a very long time, and one of the most fun to watch stylistically. This is the kind of person who can just flex on people with his micro. He doesn't give a damn. He will do things that completely defy what you should be able to do in StarCraft 2 with your units. And quite honestly, he's one of these people that if you watch and try to replicate, it can kind of blow up in your face, because if you try to copy what this guy does, he's just so good that only a very small percentile can mimic his micro and pull off the strats that he does sometimes. So he's very fun to watch because he just does things that you don't expect to be possible, and it's Maru. Scarlett is going to be opening up with a relatively quick Zergling speed. This is very standard for obvious reasons, and if you're new to the game, I'll explain why it's standard. So Terran players almost always open up with at least one Reaper, and then they expand off the back of it. This Reaper is very strong because it gives Terran the ability to scout and potentially do harassment damage if the Zerg doesn't prepare. Now, the Zerg players are so used to this Reaper where they're really not going to be caught off guard by it anymore. So they've adapted their builds, aka the way in which they build their units, the order in which they build their units, to counter these Reaper openings. And one of the ways that they've done this is always taking a relatively early gas, mining at least 100 minerals to get this Ling speed upgrade. And then of course Zerg wants to get double queen as soon as possible. Notice Scarlett already has a queen out in her main that she's walked down to her natural. Maru starts to press forward here, throws a grenade down. Scarlett has started an evolution chamber, so potentially we could see some drops here. This map is pretty popular for drops because people love to hide overlords up on this high ground, run Lings up here, and then just drop them over. Maru has 2 barracks already. He's researching stem, and this is usually indicative of that drop stem build that has become very popular over the last, I would say, 5 months, because Terran players very oftentimes love to drop. Maru is one of the best in the world at it. So this build pretty much allows him to rush up to drop and get exactly the units that he likes to do damage with right away. We can see some Lings coming out here for Scarlett are going to force Maru's hand a bit. He loses an SCV, but he's going to deflect a few of the Lings with Marines. And Scarlett is continuing to press this natural. Maru is probably going to wait for a couple more Gem Rainers and then move out. Now, it is worth noting that whenever you do this stem drop build, you do delay Hellions, aka you don't even make them, because instead of making reactored Hellion, you just lift your factory off and swap with the starport, as we see Maru doing that. Scarlett recently taking a 3rd, has a lot of drones, started her creep spread out to her 3rd and out to the middle of the map. But of course the lack of Hellions means that you're kind of vulnerable to these early game Ling pressures, because Hellions, of course, bonus damage to light units, do very well against Lings. Now, of course, it is very common to see wall-offs at the natural and bunkers, and these kind of things help prevent Lings from doing damage, but a lot of times we see Zerg players go for upgraded Lings and then make a ton of them. And oftentimes, if you're just trying to go pure bio, that can be problematic. Scarlett has +1 Carapace on the way. She's queued up +1 attack. Zerglings are incredibly powerful, +1 melee. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but they just absolutely rip through Marines once they have melee. So they have Carapace now, but honestly, the melee are a little bit more important for Lings in ZVT. Now in ZVZ, the Carapace is actually better because it lets them survive a Baneling hit. Maru is going to stem forward here and try to run off some of the Zerg units. Scarlett loses an Overlord there, which is annoying, and we can see she does indeed have a drop Overlord near the top. Lair started for Scarlett, +1 on the way. She started to creep spread her main. Remember, she can't even get Bane speed until her Lair finishes. So Maru is going to press out here. He started +1 combat shields and +2 armor. He's going to drop and be aggressive, kill the creep tumor, and that is so annoying. So now Scarlett's center-based creep spread is completely abated. Maru will probably scan and kill this. There he goes. He mows down the active tumors and kills the other tumors for good measure, like Sir Amory Lorch. And after he presses the third base, he's going to press up into the main with the Liberator. And nothing is more pleasant than dealing with Liberator harass, right, Zerg players? Look at this. Scarlett sees it, tries to move away, and Maru repositions, and the Queen dies for Scarlett. So Scarlett has an entire base shut down right now. She can't mine out of an entire base, which is obviously a huge deal. If we go to income, Maru's about even despite only having 2 bases. Scarlett started Bane speed, her +1's about to finish. Massling on the way for Scarlett. She really wants to be able to stem the flow of Terran here and stabilize. Of course, that's going to be very hard to do without Baneling speed, and this upgrade seemingly takes forever whenever you play against people who can really multitask well. Liberator with 5 kills. Here we see Stem Marines kiting back, but I'm not going to scream like a moron and pretend that there's a lot of anticipation and excitement, because Maru can just pick up at any moment and not really be at any risk. That's the difference between watching Venomous Stare and WCS, is I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass. So here we see Maru's boosting away. Of course, he's completely safe because Scarlett, the point is Scarlett's making all this Ling Bane, so it delays her Spire Tech and her Mutas. That's why she has so much Ling Bane and why Maru can't really press up. And that's the truth of the matter, as opposed to just saying, oh, well, Scarlett has so much Ling Bane, her grip is so great, it's so close. Here we see actually great micro there, as Maru mows down the Banes and then picks up. See, that's something that you love to see, is phenomenal focus fire there. Maru basically picked off like 5 Banes. Here we go, the Banes finally have speed. They blow down a little bit of the front door. Maru has some units on the high ground. He has great Sim City. He's going to stem and focus fire some more, so suddenly we're seeing what Maru's known for here, which is his micro on his Marines. Beautiful focus fire, constantly mowing down those Banelings. And if you're not aware, just watch the Banelings. Watch how the Banelings explode. You see that? 4 Banelings instantaneously explode, and Maru backs his ass up against this little wall-in, and by wall-in I mean cliff face, and mows down some Zerglings. So despite the fact that Scarlett has a lot of workers, she's macroed well, she's upgraded well, Maru has microed so insanely perfectly where every engagement has been made favorable for him. He's backed up against corners when it's necessary. He's moved around with his medevacs all the time, and most importantly, he's been consistently focus firing Banelings, preventing the splash damage from even having the opportunity to occur. And here he's going to clear out some creep spread in the middle. He finally has some Widow Mines. Mass Bane on the way, as it looks like Scarlett's trying to break this third that hasn't even landed, and this might be a mistake here. As you see, Scarlett doesn't really have any units here in the middle, just a handful of Lings, and Lings aren't really going to do anything against this many Marines. So Scarlett loses her 4th. Now the workers are even, and Maru loses 4th. So Scarlett's going to go for a big counterattack here. Once again, going to go for the depots. Great job by Maru there to even have a wall in. As if he didn't, he would have just lost outright. He's going to kite back here. Scarlett running into the natural. Maru fighting with the workers desperately, trying to mineral trick. But 10 Banelings out here for Scarlett, and guess what? They're all on her side of the map, and Maru has stabilized. He backs all of his bio up into the natural, and he's doing a phenomenal job. Scarlett runs over to the 3rd, and Maru does lose a handful of workers, but guess what, baby? Mules exist, and Maru is going to be able to deflect the attack because 2-2 is about to finish. and he's going to be in a nice little position where he will have 2-2 for a long time before Scarlett. He has a Liberator sieged up here, picking off workers. Great spot here. Scarlett finds a sweet spot of defense and tries to pick off this Lib, but it has 9 kills. Of course, Maru never just does one thing at once. He's scanning and killing drones at the natural here, as well as scanning and killing creep at the 4th, but he's really mowing down drones here at the natural. And suddenly, if we go to the workers killed, things are looking a little messy here as Scarlett is down in workers. Massling coming out here. Maru stutter stepping back. And he'll just load up once again. This is the problem with going Massling Bane. And boom, big hit there as a lot of stuff dies. But at the third base we see Lings coming out for Scarlett as Maru was trying to build a little bit of a wall. Drop in here in the main. Huge action here from both players. Lots of APM and multitask. Spawning pool being mowed down. CC being lost, as this is a knockdown drag out. And I will venture to guess here that Scarlett is actually at the disadvantageous position because she lost a spawning pool. Remember, Scarlett's going for Massling Bane. Every unit that Scarlett makes is basically a Ling, a Baneling, or a Queen. So the fact that Scarlett can't make any of those units right now is really, really bad. So yeah, Maru loses a third, he's going to restart it, but to be quite honest, it doesn't really matter. He's going to siege up double Liberator here. And what is Scarlett going to make? She's bottlenecked. She can't make any Lings at all. The 4th base is going to die, and Maru, who is currently up 0-2 in the best of 5, is in the position of winning. And here a mine, oh, it goes down. If it burrowed, it would have been big, but another mine is out here for Maru. It could burrow. Double Liberator out here for Maru. He just cancels the third. He knows, okay, well, if your Lings are across the map, I guess I'll just win. Beautiful splits here from Maru coming down. Pre-splits from the Prince of Marines. Speed Banes come out, and the Prince of Marines flies backwards. He's on creep. Remember, with just 2 CCs, it's very hard to clear all the creep, but the Prince of Marines manages to maintain a lot of his Marines, and if more Banes come out, remember these Banes have a lot of HP after the buff, but the Prince of Marines runs forward here, and despite the fact that the players are even in upgrades, Maru is probably going to mow down this third. He's going to kite back even more. He's going to pick up here, so the third does live. Great job there by Scarlett to bring the cross-map units back to the third base, but Maru killed quite a few workers. He pressured the third base significantly, and another huge hit there from that Widow Mine. It's up to 17 kills, and Maru has +3 weapons about to finish, and that upgrade is a world ender. Another Liberator out here. This is the 9-kill edition Liberator from earlier. Maru can continue to aggress, and without the threat of mutas, he can just infinitely pick up, and his micro is actually good enough to do that. Another Liberator out here killing more mass workers for Scarlett. 48 workers killed for Scarlett, actually. But if we go to workers, both players are incredibly low, as this is a low econ game, but again, Maru is exceptional. He has some of the best micro in the world. He's not actually going to lose Marines to Ling Baneling when he has medevacs. Guess what? Scarlett doesn't have any mutas at all. So Maru can just pick up whenever the hell he wants. And look at this. Stemming forward is the Prince of Marines. He mows down a couple queens. And even when the Ling Bane comes over, it's not really an issue. Look at that. Picks up into the medis again. And Scarlett GG. So Scarlett gets swept there by Maru. But Maru is an incredible talent. Make sure you subscribe for more. You don't want to miss any future StarCraft 2 content. Favorite the video, leave a like rating, leave a comment, tell me who your favorite pro gamer is.